What if God appeared to you and asked you, "What do you want me to do for you?" What would your answer be? Don't be quick to answer. It's not an easy question to answer. Before answering, I would like to read an excerpt from James 4. Where do wars and fights come from among you? James was writing to Christians, to those who, even confessing faith in God, lived in disagreements, wars, misunderstandings. Then James was explaining to them, why do you war so much? Where do these wars come from among you? And he answers, do they not come from your desires for pleasure, the war in your members? In other words, our desires, the war in our members, are our choices, our desires. Human beings seek to escape from pain and look for pleasure. That's what our lives are about, to escape from pain and to find pleasure. When you feel some hunger, your stomach hurts. You look for food to fill the gap and to give you satisfaction, a food that fills your mouth with taste and pleasure. Likewise, when you are seated at the sofa, at a table, on the bus, when you are sitting for a while, your body starts to hurt, your back, your legs, and you look for a better position to avoid the pain and to feel more comfort. That's why they sell first class. What is the first class if not more comfort for you to stretch your legs and to rest better? Am I right? But even in the first class, you will be hurting in the same way, right? Human beings are always escaping from pain and looking for pleasure. And this is what James is talking about. Because of this war that happens within you, the search for pleasure to satisfy your desires is why wars happen. Imagine 8 billion people trying to do only what gives them pleasure and what they want. Think about it. What will happen to the world is what is happening, because most are not aware that their will is against them and others. When you only look for your pleasure and your desires, naturally you will harm yourself, because your will, most probably, is not to wake up in the morning when you are in the best of your sleep, when you are lazy and you need to wake up. Does your body want to wake up? Certainly not. You want to be lying down. Others must wait. But the world, let's say your boss, will not accept you to show up whenever you want. So your will harm your boss and harm yourself. It is a simple example. If you only eat what your eyes desire, you see the ice cream pot and you say, "What a great ice cream." And your mouth waters just to think about it. For you to eat that ice cream pot, what will happen? Your sugar levels will rise, your cholesterol, your belly will not reduce but increase. The belly will increase. The trousers will not fit you anymore. Then it will not do you any good, but it is your will. It's what the text is saying. That wars and fights among people, in other words, the problems among people, come from they doing their own will. And he concludes, saying, you lust and do not have. You murder and covet and cannot obtain. You fight and war, yet you do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on your pleasures, on your desires. In other words, our desire leads us to covet, even can lead us to kill, to envy, to fight, to war, and in the end, to not have what we want. This is the great problem when you give yourself to everything you want. Remember that I spoke previously about the first commandment of Satan's Bible. Do everything you want. Why does the devil encourage people to do what they want? Be who you want. Do what you want. You are free. So on and so forth. Why does he encourage so much people to do what they want? Because if they follow this advice, his work is done. He doesn't need to do anything else. Because people themselves will destroy themselves. When the person does what they want, they will destroy themselves and others. The devil's work is done. So the Bible teaches us, you ask and do not receive because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on your pleasures. What you can conclude from this is, human beings do not know how to want. Usually, they want amiss. They usually think that it will benefit them, but in the end, it's bad for them and others. Therefore, what should we do with this information? We must understand that our will has to be captive to the will of God, like the Lord's Prayer. Let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Let your will be done in my life as it is done in heaven. Let your will be done. Our will must be captive to the will of God. You must learn to ask the following question. What does the Lord want me to do? It's not, I want you, Lord, to do this or that. Okay, there are moments within God's will to ask. We have the right to ask. Here is not saying for us not to ask, but it's saying that we should not ask amiss. To ask amiss is to ask based only on your desire. But to ask well is what? Is you to learn God's will, which is already defined, it's clear in His Word, and it brings us numerous promises. And then you ask upon what you know is the will of your Father. This is to ask well. It's not forbidden to ask, but you must ask well. So to learn, Father, what do you want me to do? More than I want you to do this and that according to your selfishness and pleasures, is the secret of you getting rid of your will, which is against you, and to learn to live well with yourself, with people, to be free from anxiety, to be free from the problems that your desires bring to you. For example, how many times do people suffer? They're suffering today in a relationship. Why? Because they wanted to do their own will. They fell in love with someone, parents, relatives told them, you know the person for a short period of time. You shouldn't go head first. Wait a bit. Get to know them better. No, they went in head first. This is my chance. It's as if there's no tomorrow. It's another commandment of the devil. Let's live today as if there were no tomorrow. They went in head first. Now you have a big headache. A great headache. Because you followed your will. And what does your will give you? Headaches, problems. So learn to ask well and be careful with your impulses. Be careful with your personal dreams. The Bible teaches us to dream, but to dream God's dreams, to dream His dreams, His will. This submission to God's head, for you to put your head on God's head, will give you a variety of perfect things to ask for. Perfect thing. The perfect will of God will never harm us. It is good, acceptable, and perfect. So you can trust whatever you ask within God's will, that will only benefit you. But you must sacrifice your will. You must put your will on the altar daily, because daily and every moment your will is asking you something. But don't forget, when it is your will and it is clearly against God, that will only harm you, will destroy you. It will give you bellyache, headache, or pain somewhere, which is exactly what you're trying to avoid. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.